Society for Threatened People and ICIPR, followed by John Carissa Hodoneshone, External Relations Committee. So I give the floor to Yana Tanagashevana.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. As a representative of the Shore people from southwestern Siberia, who has been directly affected by the Russian regime and coal mining companies, I want to draw your attention to the violations of the rights of indigenous peoples by the Russian authorities and mining companies. Unfortunately, no treaties regarding indigenous peoples are in force in the Russian Federation. One example of this is the Kazas village in Kemerovo region, where I'm from. The village was burned down by the coal company 8 years ago. The case of this village and violations of the Shore people rights was considered by the Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. The concluding observations of the committee were addressed to Russia to restore the rights of the Shore people. However, the rights of the shores continue to be violated by coal and gold mining companies, and the Russian authorities have both lied in their reports and continue to provide false information. Moreover, the Russian regime is increasing pressure and repression on those representatives of indigenous peoples who openly fight for their lands, territories, the rights to self-determination, and in general openly express their position. I express concern that the Russian authorities and mining companies are manipulating representatives of indigenous peoples, using their vulnerable position to promote the state policies and propaganda both on national and international level. That applies, for example, to the Norilsk nickel company, whose accident occurred in 2020, which became the largest oil spill in the Russian Arctic. This caused irreparable harm to the living environment of the indigenous peoples of Timor, negatively affects their nutrition. In general, the poor situation of the indigenous peoples of Russia was difficult even before the war, but now it has only worsened. Today in Russia, it is almost impossible and dangerous to speak openly, to express your position freely. Indigenous peoples are criminalized in various contexts. Threats and harassments are more often directed against persons who are involved in the protection of environmental rights, land rights, and recently against those who openly protest against the war with Ukraine. In conclusion, Mr. Chair, I would like to request the UN Special Rapporteur on the rights of indigenous peoples to pay special attention in future reports to the situation of the indigenous peoples of rights, controversial situations, the implementation of the recommendations of treaty bodies, and also to investigate issues related to the criminalization of representatives of indigenous peoples who protect their lands, territories, and resources. Recommend to the Human Rights Council that the mandate of a special rapporteur on the situation of indigenous peoples in situations of interstate conflicts be established. And also...
Can you please wrap up? Your time is over.
Thank you.
Thank you for your statement.